big game coming up. It's 3-8 Seahawks, but it's still the Seahawks, and it's a big rivalry. They kind of have the Niners number like the Niners have the Rams number, and the Niners are limping into the game. No Deebo, no Warner. Which loss do you think is bigger for this team?
There's no right answer here, and obviously what Deebo Samuel is providing right now is stability. Asking him to do anything, and he's performing. Anytime they need a big play, it comes from him. But I'm gonna say Fred Warner, and here's why. That stadium gets loud, very loud. And that defense needs a calming presence. Even if you want to say whatever you want to say about what you think about what Fred has been doing this season, what sort of season he's having after his contract, all of those things. I love what Azeez Al-Shaair is doing. Clearly, you guys know that. But it would be wrong of me to just say that Azeez Al-Shaair is just going to step right in and be able to duplicate what Fred brings to this team. So when that stadium gets loud, when, I've had people describe it to me as like you feel it in your chest, like that, and for Fred to be there and say, stay calm, do your job, like stay calm, don't let it get a little bit out, because the biggest factor in this game is not the crowd, it's the fact that I probably have no doubt in my mind that Russell Wilson is going to play the best game of his season somehow against all odds, even though he hasn't all year, right? Like, I mean, he's literally the only quarterback. Yeah, he's the only quarterback that I've ever seen that can be terrible for 3 3/4 of a game. And literally that last drive is the time where all of a sudden he knows how to do it. And you saw it in Washington. Like,
Tebow can do that, but Russell Wilson's the good version.
No, but Russell's done it for 10 years. He only did that for like a few games, right? So like with Russell Wilson, he can throw 4 interceptions in a game. You give him one shot at the end of the game, you're probably going to say, oh, it's done. Like
he almost pulled it off last week.
Right. So who watched that Washington game and saw him get the ball and say, here we go? And
I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. It was kind of amazing that he missed that 2-point conversion. That was weak.
He had DK wide open screaming behind the back of that deadline.
All game.
That's a whole
anyway. Strange.
That's a whole other discussion. Yeah. But yeah, I look. I cannot understate what Deebo Samuel is doing. Right. I want him discussed as the MVP. I just think in this game right now, for this situation, for this team, for who the Seahawks are to the 49ers, I would like Fred Warner to be there, because I'm not as worried as about the 49ers offense as I am about their defense in this game, especially with the loss of Fred Warner. Doesn't look like D Ford is going to play in this game. Dre Greenlaw is not going to play in this game. You're going to need a very solid game from this defense. You cannot allow those back-breaking third down runs. You cannot allow coverage busts on the back end. You cannot allow miscommunications. You can't let this team hang around, and that's where I'm at with it. Could be wrong. I'm sure everybody's saying it's Deebo, but in my eyes, I wish Fred was ready for this game.
You made a great case. I wasn't going to say Fred, but you made a great case. I'm going to go with Deebo here. Just that's how I feel, and also someone should make the case. The way I look at it is, it wasn't that long ago that you and I were in Chicago. It was a month ago. Like, that game, I don't think they would have beaten the Bears without Deebo Samuel.
Saved the season, saved Jimmy's job.
Yeah, like that was just a month ago. And I know the Niners have improved since then, but in a lot of ways, he's been the whole team. And a lot of people are getting credit on this team right now. Kyle Shanahan for figuring out his identity, and Jimmy Garoppolo for his big throws on third down, and everyone. But like, really, Deebo is making everyone look great. And I'm curious to see what this offense, what the whole team looks like without him, because the offense has been protecting the defense by controlling the ball. I mean, really, and he's been the offense. So last time they went up to Seattle, they didn't have Deebo. That was last season, and it went all bad. And that team wasn't that great either. So I don't know. I guess this Deebo thing, I'm concerned. Like, where is the big play coming from in this offense? And can they really survive without it? Because Seattle gets the big play at least a couple of times a game, even when they suck. So I don't know. I mean, it could come down to turnovers like it did week 4. But if it doesn't, I have the better jacket, Barry Baller. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
What? Well, all right. Here's my pushback to that. If you would have said this game was happening let's say right after that Bears game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I would feel very much like you. But Brandon Ayuk is ascending at the perfect time. I mean, there's no right time to have Deebo Samuel injured. Don't confuse that. But the way that Ayuk is playing, and obviously Kittle's going to be in this game. Kittle wasn't in that last game, in that Bears game. I just think that there's enough, right? There's enough to get it done. Like you can turn Ayuk into that bit of Deebo, role, like those tunnel screens behind behind the line of scrimmage, some of those end arounds. They even tried it last week when Deebo was there. So I'm not trying to understate Deebo Samuel at all,
Yeah.
but I think that if there ever was a right time, there is never a right time. If there was ever a right time for Deebo Samuel to miss a game, it's right now during the time that Brandon Ayuk is ascending in the way that he is, and he can shoulder a little bit more right now.
Okay, I'm going to do one more rebuttal and then we'll move on. It
No
just
problem.
seems to me that unless Elijah Mitchell has another 27 carries in him, then Deebo Samuel's absence means more Jimmy Garoppolo, just more Jimmy Garoppolo. And he struggled against the Seahawks, and he won't have his best player. Like, he won't have his best player, which can only have an effect on him. So I don't know.
I hear you on that, and that's my fear too as
Yeah.
well. Like I wouldn't
1-4.
feel as I feel that point 100%, and I wouldn't feel as nervous about it if Jeff Wilson was playing a little bit better,
Right.
because
You could control the game. Yeah.
right, if you notice, Deebo Samuel is the guy that's right behind Elijah Mitchell in terms of touches, and
That's right.
that really speaks to the confidence that Kyle Shanahan has in the guys behind him right now. Now, if Jeff Wilson steps up in this game, that would be great.
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson. This might be it. Like, this would be the week for it. But I agree with you on that portion. And you're right. It is going to be a little bit more on Jimmy Garoppolo's plate. He's going to have to make plays in this game. He's going to have to make throws. They're not going to be able to do what they think they're going to be able to do. And if they do, great. I'd love to be wrong on that. But no matter where the Seahawks are, throw out everything that you saw for the last year and a half with them. Whenever they play the 49ers, it always somehow becomes their best game. We're talking about at home. I think that entire team understands what they're on the preface of, which is the end of an era, and also having the 49ers effectively end that era. So I expect them to come out and play well. And for one more thing that I wanted to say, I guess this is kind of backing up your point. Seattle's defense is actually all right. They're actually playing okay. Like, they're not the reason. The reason this team is struggling is because Russell Wilson can't throw to wide open guys. He just wants to throw moon balls all the time. And that's the part that I think that 49er fans should, worry about a little bit more, is that if you really think this defense is that bad, they really aren't that bad. You can score on them, you can move on them, but they're solid. They're not the reason this team is bad right now. They're not.
Also, the Niners played the Seahawks earlier this year. Russell Wilson was bad and won by 6. He's tough. He was bad. I was watching last week, like, what happened to you? Almost won it. I mean, if the dude hadn't lined up, honestly, if Nick Bellore hadn't lined up,
49ers legend,
they probably would have won that game, because then Russell Wilson would have gotten the ball one more time, and what would have happened?
It points to one thing too, also, that 49ers fans know all too well. Every single break goes Seattle's way in any single game ever. I've never seen
Seattle.
I've never seen a team get everything go their way. Like, it's literally only not gone their way like 1 or 2 times, which was the Super Bowl with Malcolm Butler and 2019 Drake Greenlaw, the stop. Everything else, anytime that there's a 50-50 play, it's always the Seahawks way. Anytime there's a 50-50 call, it's always Seattle's way. I've never seen a team be gifted more things than the Seattle Seahawks, and I have no explanation for it. I have none.
You sound like Evan Hill right now.
I can't wait to dunk him after this game.
The people want to know, what kind of jacket is that?
Whatever. It's an H&M jacket.
I like H&M. Hey, hold on. I got a lot of nice stuff from H&M.
That's what I'm saying. But all right, so here's my trick with H&M.
Shout out H&M if you want to sponsor the show. I like they make good stuff.
It's fast fashion. It's fast fashion. So what happens is they take what's going on in the runway that you're paying whatever you're paying for, and you pay less for it, so you're in season. That's why you wear it for a season, you move on, you go back and you buy it as cheap.
It's like $30-$40 usually. Yeah. Anyway, H&M is the bomb. This is a derby jacket. If you're out in the Bay, they have a store on at the Haight-Ashbury. So anyway, they're kind of classic. If you're from San Francisco, you probably know what I'm talking about. Jason has no idea, but that's okay.